Hi, welcome back, my friends. It's another time for a book or two with you, and today I chose this book. It's one of my very favorites. It's called Wilfred Gordon McDonald Partridge. It's written by a woman named Mem Fox, and I love her books, and it's illustrated by a woman named Julie Vivas, and I love her illustrations. I have had this book for a very long time. A friend of mine gave it to me when I was becoming a teacher. I was doing my student teaching, going to school to learn how to be the best teacher I could be, and she gave me this book. And she told me that Wilfred Gordon reminded her of me, and I was very happy. So let's enjoy this book together. Wilfred Gordon McDonald Partridge. There was once a small boy called Wilfred Gordon McDonald Partridge. And what's more, he wasn't very old either. His house was next door to an old people's home, and he knew all the people who lived there. He liked Mrs. Jordan, who played the organ. He listened to Mr. Hosking, who told him scary stories. He played with Mr. Tippett, who was crazy about cricket. He ran errands for Miss Mitchell, who walked with a wooden stick. He admired Mr. Drysdale, who had a voice like a giant voice. They're all his friends. But his favorite person of all, was Miss Nancy Allison Delacourt Cooper, because she had 4 names just as he did. He called her Miss Nancy and told her all of his secrets. One day, Wilfred Gordon heard his mother and father talking about Miss Nancy. "Poor old thing," said his mother. "Why is she a poor old thing?" asked Wilfred Gordon. "Because she's lost her memory," said his father. "It isn't surprising," said his mother. "After all, she is 96. "What's a memory?" asked Wilfred Gordon. He was always asking questions. "It's something you remember," said his father. But Wilfred Gordon wanted to know more, so he called on Mrs. Jordan, who played the organ. "What's a memory?" he asked. "Something warm, my child, something warm." He called on Mr. Hosking, who told him scary stories. "What's a memory?" he asked. "Something from long ago, me lad, something from long ago." He called on Mr. Tippett, who was crazy about cricket. "What's a memory?" he asked. "Something that makes you cry, my boy, something that makes you cry." He called on Miss Mitchell, who walked with a wooden stick. "What's a memory?" he asked. "Something that makes you laugh, my darling, something that makes you laugh." He called on Mr. Drysdale, who had a voice like a giant. "What's a memory?" he asked. "Something as precious as gold, young man, something as precious as gold." So, Wilfred Gordon went home again to look for memories for Miss Nancy, because she had lost her own. He looked for the shoebox of shells he had found long ago last summer and put them gently in a basket. He found the puppet on strings, which always made everyone laugh, and he put that in the basket too. He remembered with sadness the medal which his grandfather had given him, and he placed it gently next to the shells. This is the puppet on a string that he's talking about. And there's the shells, and there's the metal in there with the shells. Next, he found his football, which was as precious as gold. And last of all, on his way to Miss Nancy's, he went into the hen house and took a fresh, warm egg from under a hen. Then, Wilfred Gordon called on Miss Nancy and gave her each thing one by one. What a dear, strange child to bring me all these wonderful things, thought Miss Nancy. And then she started to remember. She held the warm egg and told Wilfred Gordon about the tiny speckled blue eggs she had once found in a bird's nest in her aunt's garden. She put a shell to her ear and remembered going to the beach by tram long ago and how hot she had felt in her button-up boots. There she is, a long time ago. That's Miss Nancy when she was much younger. She touched the metal and talked sadly of the big brother she had loved who had gone to war and never returned. She smiled at the puppet on strings and remembered the one she had shown to her sister and how she had laughed with a mouthful of porridge. She bounced the football to Wilfred Gordon and remembered the day she had met him and all the secrets they had told. And the two of them smiled and smiled because Miss Nancy's memory had been found again by a small boy who wasn't very old either. And that's the end. I love this book so much. I love going back and spending time with each picture. Every picture is so amazing. So I love the colors, and I think that maybe the illustrator Julie Vivas, it looks like she used some watercolor paints for this. I don't know for sure. We'd have to ask her. Maybe she used more than that. And there are other books by Mem Fox, and I think Julie Vivas illustrated some of those other books with her. I bet they're friends. You're my friend, and I love spending time with you, and I love reading books with you. Thank you for joining me today for a book or two with you, and I will see you very, very soon. Until then, enjoy your books.